Ooh. Hello. I was gonna change the audio input again, but I forgot. Darn it. Anyway, I haven't gotten any complaints, so I'm assuming it's okay. So today I was on a walk. I took the dog for a walk in the cemetery, and I saw a path that I've never noticed before. Sometimes I let the dog decide where we go, right? And that's what I did today. And he took me down a path, and I was recording a video, and I was like, "Oh, I'm out in the cemetery, blah 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 blah, whatever. I don't know, walking Chino today." And then I noticed something that looked like an old water pump, or it looked like an old water fixture or something. And then next to it, I noticed a path that led to a tree. And there was a nut that I saw somewhere along the way that turned out to be a hickory nut, I guess. The prevailing theory is that it was a hickory nut, but in my research to see what tree the nut belonged to, I came across ash again. And when I was in Wisconsin, not Wisconsin, when I was in Michigan a few weeks ago or a few months ago now, um, wow, okay, yeah, a few months ago, I was told at the campsite that ash is standing dead. Um, and it's like, since it's standing dead, the wood inside is dry, and you can cut it down immediately and use it for firewood. Um, I also found an article about a doctor, a physician in town, who's planting trees, and in the article it mentioned an emerald ash borer and how it's killing the ash trees. And then when I came upon the article with like 15 different types of trees, ash was on there, and it was listed as it's basically, I guess, endangered at this point because the ash borers are just like tearing them apart or tearing them up all over. Um, and we actually, I don't think I took a picture of it, but in the ash wood, you could actually see the path that the ash borer took through the tree. Oh, look, you sacral. Here's a tree. So anyway, that's not the tree I'm looking for though. So I was telling Russ about it, or I was, I guess I think that Russ is the closest thing I have to a tree expert. Even though now that I think about it, I have a friend who whose dad is a tree guy, and I think if I think about it again, I have another friend whose dad is also into trees. So, but anyway, Russ is my the closest thing I have, I guess, to a friendly, local ish, reachable tree expert. So I sent him a picture. Well, first it was like this really bright green acorn, and it caught my eye because it was the brightest thing there on the path that near the water pump. Where am I going? And that's I sent him a picture of those, that and the hickory nut. Um, and also, when I was coming out of my interview the other day, there's that you again. When I was coming out of my interview the other day, I saw the trash can, but it just said ash. And I was gonna be like, oh, if only someone could see what the ash trees are wanting to say before they depart. I wanted to say that, but then I feel like I was met with a very um, like, oh, if only there was someone. And I figured I would attempt to see what the ash wants to say. Hey Eve, I don't think I got any new subscribers yesterday or the day before. So yesterday when I went live, I used a 24-hour thing. Today I'm using a 48-hour thing. Tomorrow I might use 72 hours. I don't know. The that weird Saturnian, I guess, question mark part of me wants to wants to be like, I don't know, if you've subscribed for over, I don't know, 2 months and then a year. See if anyone says anything. Anyway, that's why I don't need new features. But I'm glad that you've been here for longer than 48 hours so that I can interact with you. Ooh, Bifrost. Hand throws. With sap at the bottom. Turns out quite a few trees have saps. There was one that's like it was drinkable as is. I don't remember which tree that was. Maple. Uh, they didn't say to drink maple, but there's like if you chemistry it, cook it, whatever, that's how you get the maple syrup. But there was another one that you could turn into a syrup, or you could drink the sap. So yeah, so when you go live now, it's like completely different. Um, it looks like when you upload a video, and then there's a page where you can determine like who gets to chat, and it's like anyone or subscribers. And when you go to subscribers, you can create a custom filter. So they have like minutes, days, or minutes, hours, days, years, months, whatever. When you go under the custom option, so I'm shuffling up the room deck, gonna see what's up with the ash trees. How are you, Eve? How are you doing? And I don't know, I'm kind of sad for the ash trees. So I thought it was a feature of ash that they're standing dead. And I'm like, well, how do they get so tall if they're dead? Oh my gosh. But no, they're being killed by nature, I guess. So Guy is saying no more ash trees because the beetles are taking them. Maybe I'll find an ash seed and I'll put it in deep freeze and wait for the beetles to leave and then bring ash back to the world. Maybe not. I don't know. So I'm going to use the before tarot. I just want to use these, honestly. I also want to do the before, take majors before, majors after, and then use the in between. My Monday is pretty good. I got my course packets. One of my, because I'm registered for 2 online classes, and one of the books, the textbook for one of the classes is like designing databases for mere mortals or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. The moon. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. This feels like a journey that we go on with a certain destination in mind. It feels Odyssean with the Odyssey. Like it was a trip that wasn't going to be as long as it was, but somewhere along the trip, things change. It's like right now, it looks like it's going to be straightforward. But with this moon card, things are going to happen that we don't necessarily expect. But it's fine, right? Because it's the Six of Swords. The ferryman will know how to navigate the boat no matter what happens. It's kind of sort of his thing. So I'm going to shuffle these up. These are already shuffled up. I'm going to pull before and after Ash. And then I'm going to use, so I'll go to the before to see what it was. I don't know. This is just how I'm going to do it. And however it comes out is how it comes out, I guess. I guess I should have looked up like properties of the ash tree or something. I can do that later. I remember the ash room when Rain raked it held a very Loki energy. And that was the one where like the camera fell and other things were falling, and but order was brought later. So I guess if ash stands for chaos or has that sort of feature in it, then the emerald ash borer is bringing order to it. But it feels like there's a certain amount in general that's needed for the world to function as it does. Right? That's that the before the moon when you're going on that Six of Swords. It's the randomness that allows for uh, fun experiences, and it allows for things to work out even better. It allows for growth. It allows for lots of stuff. So let's see. Now, I guess I don't necessarily have to look it up because I have cards, right? That's what these are for, I guess. So, but yeah. So I got my course materials. I got my student ID. Um, Everything is just like pretty smooth today. So let's flip through these and see where Ash is. That was Rob, by the way. I'm not gonna pull a Patrick and look at my phone. I was like, I'm kind of sad about Ash. Ash. Here it is. AESC. Ash is the personal Idris. Oh, Swelchness. Swelchness in the past. How accurate. Now, if it puts, I'm going to try to not look at it yet. If that is, what's her name? What's her name? Onwardness? No, towardness. If it's towardness here, then that'd be like the future. So the past is in the past, the whirlpool. And it's funny that the whirlpool is here because I said it feels Odyssean in some way. The Six of Swords and the moon. And he had to sail between Charybdis and the other whirlpool. I forget its name. Hey, Marceline. You were a computer science major back in the day, and your spouse works in IT. I love computers. I wish I would have majored in like Comp maybe, or even ECE. Like my favorite classes when I was at school, it was coding and controls and mechatronics and stuff like that. I just enjoyed it a lot. Bottom of the deck is Watergefaul. And I feel like Russ got that recently, but how you doing? How you doing? Waterfall. At the bottom. Okay. I didn't pull a Patrick for as long as I can, but now I'm gonna see what Sir Professor Nerd Pal Odinson of the North wants from me. All right. So let's see what the ash tree was coming out with before. Swelchness Whirlpool. The thing I like about Swelchness is this little tail thing at the end of it. It feels like that's the thing that keeps it going. It feels like a vector that shows you which direction it's going to move in. And if you can just sort of like get it, grab it, stabilize it, it'll stop swirling. So the ash before. I think I'm going to do the before and the after. I want you to follow. I want you to make or say something. And then I'll pull in between. I'll note that one, but. Well, no problem. I'm glad you could take today off. Just like disconnected from everything in general, or just feeling like an off day today. I guess if I feel into today feels It feels like the energy today is kind of quiet, I guess. Oh, look, it came back out before the moon. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Pentacles. Well, I need to set this somewhere. Oh, I'll just set it back up here. Haha, that works. That works. So before its Welchness, honestly, with the Eight of Pentacles, oh look, there's a 10 between these two. With the moon coming out and the Eight of Pentacles, it feels like the truth will be revealed after or now. It feels like it served a time as one thing, but now that it's facing the emerald ash border, it feels like there's something that it leaves behind when it's gone. Like these three are only completed, or we only see these three after it's gone. Death came out. Yeah. And every time I hear of ash, and maybe it's from the tree, it reminds me of Teen Wolf, Mountain Ash, how that like disconnected from the collective. Gotcha. Yeah. 13, 18, 8. It's like that mountain ash. Hey, Grace. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. And I think I've also been hearing, like, I know Reem felt it. I think Corey might have made a community post about it, question mark. And I know even before that, it was a week or 2 weeks ago when Reem talked about the dream that she had about the dog, about like getting new guides or connecting in deeper ways, or like that energy is sort of going on. Yeah. Hey, Grace, how you doing? Yeah, it feels like whatever Ash is, it's predominantly this. Everything up here, it's like it's pointing to when it's gone. Maybe also with the whirlpool energy, there's something about the properties of Ash that it's like where the world was, it was too chaotic for them to really shine. Or it's like whenever it would sort of interject itself, it would get washed away in a way. Hey, Holly. We're talking about ash trees today because they're basically being wiped out, I guess. The emerald ash borer is just like killing them. And ash has been coming up, so I wanted to see if I could glean anything from ash. So it feels like it's all now and after with ash. Again, I didn't do like any research, I guess, on the spiritual properties or even the medicinal. I guess I think I saw some of it on the list, but I don't remember it. So, but it feels like it has something more to offer as we're sort of moving out of the energy that we were in the past. And who knows, maybe after we make the transition, they'll come back and they won't all die. Look at that synchronicity right off the bat for Grace Kali Maya. Oh, Windhorn being an unbound. See, it's unbound in the after. What? It's unbound in the future. What? Okay. See, I told you there's this energy. It's unbound. The X on this, it feels like this is the tree and that's the X. It reminds me of Fern Gully when they were going in and they were going to cut down all the trees, and dude was spray painting the X's on the trees that were going to be marked for destruction. I love it. Oh, ash leaves are lucky. Too many magical properties to list. So what's the ash after? Or should I wait until after? I'll wait to do the after. So we know that whatever is happening, it's going to be unbound. So it's in a process of unbinding. And it's I guess that kind of sort of mirrors and echoes our personal a lot of personal journeys right now. Not all. Personal journeys that are it's sort of like working through and contextualizing the past in a way that really opens the doors to move forward in ways that maybe we didn't necessarily have access to before. It feels like energy of releasing of potentials. Oh, too many properties to list for the wood. Gotcha. So where are we right now with Ash? Personal Idrisil's really coming into power, really becoming prominent right now as a message. Oh, this is gorgeous. Well, the water is gorgeous in the background. In the foreground, these are like not wanting to shuffle today. I will take you. You are upright. You see that? Justice. Okay. Between justice and the hanged man. This is interesting. Because it's like justice is watching the man be taken to be hanged. Hey, Lucille, is that how you pronounce that? No. See, but the hanged man, he gets put to death, right? And this is before death. And it's interesting that their horses are of different colors. And whenever I see two horses of different colors, it reminds me of chariot energy. Chariot energy reminding me of the Six of Swords, and the moon is here, right? It was the Six of Swords before and the moon before, where we think the path is one thing, but it unfolds into something different. It unfolds in a way that there was no way to know at the start of the journey. And again, I feel like it's a similar energy here in the now moment of like waiting for it to die, waiting, or at least waiting for it to be hanged, right? Waiting for it to be at that precipice between life and death. What else is here? I almost want to like get into another deck. Is there anything else in between? Between the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Cups. Is that single flower? That's the flower that the Fool is holding in the Fool card in this deck and in the After Tarot while the Fool is dangling from the cliff, like still smelling whatever is in that flower must have like I don't know hallucinogenic property. And I think it said that mulberries, an unripened mulberry can like it can cause nausea, something else, and it occasionally may cause people to hallucinate. So there's something that didn't work out in the Seven of Cups. And that's what this person is fleeing as they go to the 8. But the thing about fleeing a situation, just in general, it's like when you're a lot closer to it, it is? Okay, nice. When you're a lot closer to it, it makes like fleeing makes more sense. Like you know why you're running when you're leaving the 7. But depending on how far you get, like if you get, down the line at the 8, you may sort of forget. You may overly you may grow overly nostalgic if you get a little lonely or whatever, right? Then you think on the good times. You think on the pleasures. You think on all of the things that you want, and you may not necessarily remember as much all the reasons why you left. This is also reminding me of Balder. You have mulberry trees. We'll keep that in mind, right? There's a mulberry tree in my backyard. It was spitting out berries like crazy. And I was like, oh well, all the berries out there are probably ripe, so I'm up for a little mulberry plant medicine. 444. Oh snap! It is. It is. Hold up, wait. Let's see if I can catch it. For you folks in different time zones, 444. There you go. Did I see that today? I saw 333. I think 1111. I saw and a phone number. I don't know. But there are these shadows in the background too, though. You see them? The little monster faces. This ghost. Oh, that's the Emperor between Aries and Taurus. What? This is the title card. All right, this is on the box. This is the box card. I didn't know it was the Emperor. Okay. Mockingbirds love mulberries. I need to see what a mockingbird call is. Or do they just like mock other birds? I saw something earlier today. Who shared it? It was on Instagram and it had pictures of those ghosts. It's like change is scary, but something. I thought I reacted to it. So I need to see if it said 44 minutes ago and the fours continue. Maybe I didn't react to it. Hold up. I got to scroll all the way to the back. Was it her? No, I don't think it was her. It wasn't him. Was it? No. I don't think it was this dude. Who was it? I thought it was this man. No, it wasn't that man. That was some random something. I'm going to try to find it for you. Oh, so change can be really scary, but remember this: you can be both scared and brave at the same time. You see those ghosties? That's what it was. And that ghost face reminds me of this one up here. And it's the 8 of Cups, right? The 8 of Cups is all about change. But the 8 of Cups is about a change that is kind of sort of self directed in a way. Because we're being asked to move. We're not really being forced at the 8 of Cups. Oh wait. Is four still your number? It was 23:45 here. Oh snap. It's late over there. It's almost midnight. You've been harvesting lowbush and rose hips. Oh, lowbush blueberries. Gotcha. Are you still seeing fours, Eve? I know fours were haunting you for a minute. And it's the thing where it's only brave if you're scared. It's only courageous if you're scared. It's only a sacrifice if you want it, right? It's almost built into the definition of the word. This is so weird. Because earlier today, randomly, my brother was like, I've only felt impending doom that one time I almost got hit by a car and my entire back got really hot. And I was like, what are you talking about? Where did that come from? Why are you talking about impending doom? And he said it was on Google or something. I don't know. I was like, well, in that case and in that situation, like I feel like it makes sense. Like to feel impending doom, like when your life is on the line, when you're very much so threatened in real life. But like with justice looking out between the justice and the hanged man, knowing that the hanged man is sentenced to death, it's that energy of impending doom again. And then it kind of sort of like with those monsters here, I feel like the energy of impending doom is also here. And again, it's funny, I mentioned it yesterday. I don't know if it's in the video that no longer exists. But randomly one day, Nos Moritori Salutamus popped into my mind for some reason. Maybe somebody was talking about the Colosseum or Roman gladiators. And it's what they would say to the emperor who's no longer at the bottom of the deck. Um, Before they fought, we who are about to die salute you. Nos Moritori Salutamus. And then Nos is what? We, us. Nos Nostrum Nobis Nos Nobis. And then Moritorius is about to die. And Salutamus is salute, right? So Nos Moritori Salutamus. But this one is running away from it. And it's reminding me of the Dark Knight and the Aksunare. When we run from the darkness rather than facing it internally and working through it to claim the light. Because like that's like literally as she's running. Oh, look, here are more people running. With the Seven of Wands, they're running too. What are they running from? They're not. They're running too. Anybody watch Takeshi's Castle? MXC Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. Sorry. Whew, let me pull myself together. Ghost haunt you, girl. I can't. You're in Berlin. Oh, nice. Thank you. Um, when I started this, I was like, man, I wish I would have printed the ones that were already drawn. But it turned into an enjoyable project. I bought these markers, these brush markers, years ago, but I never used them really. Um, and there is a little bit of a shadow in Ash too. It feels like this darker line is how we know Ash, but the lighter line is how it's gonna evolve, and it's kind of like an ash gray-ish question mark. Anyway, that's all over here. It's like as she's running from the shadow, she's also running from the light in this. So I feel like there's one more. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh goodness. Or a lot more. I feel like there's one more. 5 cards fall out. Okay. I know I covered the ash, but I needed somewhere to put the cards. There's 5 more cards. Do I put these two up here? 2, 3, 2? No. Well, maybe. Yeah. So this is an energy that lets itself be captured. This is the one that runs away. It feels like neither of them are necessarily deserving of whatever is coming their way. Like it's always felt like with the Hanged Man that the Hanged Man did something that the Hierophant didn't like, and so it's sentenced to die. It feels like an energy of being silenced. But anyway, I don't know how it is today. Yeah, you should totally go for it. I'll actually I will put it right here just in case if anyone else watches this back and they see that and they also want to go and print their own. I still need to copy and paste the links over into the Gemini video question mark that I just did question mark yesterday. Gemini, I'm pretty sure. So here you can find the ones that Russell hand drew, and you can also find the blank ones. So I printed the blank ones and then pulled up the hand drawn ones for reference, so I knew what rooms to draw on the cards. You know what I mean? So at first, the ones I did with gel pen took so long. And then I looked back at it, and the gel pen ones were mostly the Elder Futhark, and then everything else was not. So these came out first face down. In between the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands, in between the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, and in between the King of Swords and the Page of Swords. This is an interesting progression. No, this is so in between the King of Swords and the Page of Swords. Yeah, that's what I said. But this is the King of Swords to the Page of Swords. Yeah, I figured you did, Lucille, but I was like, you know what? I just like whenever I use these, I like to post it. I love giving credit where credit is due. This is interesting. I think that's a solar cross. I don't know, but today, if it isn't, it is. Here's a solar cross, and it's going into this room. But it feels like it's dark inside. It feels like it's an area where we expect to find light because of the solar cross, but it feels like it's dark. And then in this Page of Wands, there's an energy of graduation. There's an energy here. It's like no longer needing the torch. So it's dark, but she doesn't need the torch anymore. So it's an internal sight. And so while she's in there, she trades her wand for a sword. And she brings the sword back to the king. And this cross is not lost on me on the graduation cup. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The final rune deck is gonna be amazing. Oh, Russ sent me a picture. I was like, oh my gosh. It's gonna be awesome. I feel like the more I see, the more anticipation I feel, which is fine. It's gonna take some time for everything to be done, but that man is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know Grace Kalimaya, but let the some you're on to something. Apparently, let all the synchronicities come through. It's gonna be so. It's gonna be so good. So good. But that gives this card a whole new context. Yeah, see, it didn't feel like these were on the same line. It felt like this one is after. So this is the single one. She's headed into this room of darkness, but it's like the light is behind her eyes. The light is within her, so it shines from inside out. So it's like her eyes will be like headlights in, um, or an eye, her third eye? Question mark? Because now it's reminding me of Hod and Yarn. It feels like her eyes are going to be like headlights in the dark, which is actually an improvement even on hermit energy because it feels like this is also the hermit. And so hermit energy might be going through an evolution. Or so if this is 10, this is the wheel of fortune. So yeah, this there's an energy here that's in between the hermit and the wheel of fortune. That's what this is. Thank you. Hermit energy is going to be what hermit energy is, but we're moving forward in a new way. We've internalized the fire somehow. Yes, yes. Like it's not really mine to talk about, but it's oh my gosh. I'm so glad he's doing it and not me. Oh, because if it were up to me, it'd probably never be done, and it definitely wouldn't be done with the care and the attention and the detail that it's being done with. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So anyway, this is her. This is like her before. This is her after. This is her inside of here. And the next two cards, it's the Seven of Swords, and the Seven and Eight of Swords, and in between the Four and Five of Coins. This reminds me of the Four of Coins after. So I'm actually going to pull that and put this here. So I'm going to put these two here. Or I'm going to put this one here. Because it feels like this completes this cycle. This feels like it opens up another one that doesn't. It feels like this is going to branch us over into what. Okay. It feels like this branches us over into this. So this is all on this side. This feels like it brings us back over here. This is on this side. This moves the ash energy forward. This keeps the ash energy sort of stuck. And it's funny. It's interesting because, again, there are four complete pinnacles on the wall here. And these women, they don't have to be women, of course, but they're like overly concerned with the four pinnacles here. And it's also interesting because with this pinnacle in the back, talking about seeds, right? With this pinnacle, I don't have to do that anymore. With this pinnacle in the back, it feels like it's going to grow into the earth. So if they let it be, these four pinnacles would actually grow into enough to sustain them. But it's like they're digging up the very seeds that they've planted that they're expecting a harvest from because something happens. And again, it leads them into the Five of Pentacles, an energy of scarcity and not enough. So before, no, wait. Yeah, after the Four of Pentacles. And you'll see why it makes me think of that energy. And I'm actually glad I ran through all of these cards because if I didn't, I wouldn't have known that that image exists. Which is my point of, the more we know, the more we can be shown to get us to a certain point and passageway. Sometimes when we encounter a high priestess or a moon energy, it's because we don't have enough context to be shown anything more complete. Here it is. Okay, let me shuffle this before I put it back down. Giving you ambience vibes. Ooh. Okay. So the reason why, so it's between the Hierophant, after the Hierophant, and the Two of Wands. So while these people are scrounging around, like trying to pick up these Four of Pentacles as they're headed for the Five, and as this person is like coming after them, like in between the Seven and the Eight of Swords, this feels like the person who's going after the person who's Seven of Swords. So justice is coming for the Seven of Swords. And like you can see in the after Four of Pentacles, while this person is hoarding these, they don't know the loss that's coming their way. That's going to put them in the Five of Pentacles state. To withhold is to, I don't know. It's just like it doesn't, again, it's like they're pulling up the very seeds that are going to be used to bring forward more like a proliferating abundance in the future. The Hierophant and the Two of Wands, especially with the world being present in the Two of Wands. And I love that this is taking me back here, because that's the world that already is, the world that was, the world that has always been. And it's a world that is governed by old Hierophantic energy. And again, you can see the energy of the Four of Pentacles in the Hierophant at his feet. If it focuses, if I bring it all the way in, you got to focus on something in there, right? There you go. There you go. Oh, it had him for a second. It's focusing on Windhorn. Stop. There you go. There are Four of Pentacles at his feet, okay? And so instead of, again, it's like instead of her moving forward into a new world with the Two of with the Two of Wands energy of like beginnings, she's being sold his vision, and he feels like one of these dudes who's being sold a vision by the Hierophant. It's a promise of a promise that was never meant to be honored here. And 2 and 5 is a 7, and this is the Seven of Swords, right? So this is putting us back into this energy, where again, it's like this energy is awaiting death. This energy is awaiting transformation. No, speaking of awaiting death, there we go. Now we see where death is, where he's going. We see where he's going. He's coming here. So now we can see what's after. Oh, look, the sun. Okay, work. Sun at the bottom of the deck, where we have the moon down here. So Windhorn, unbound and being. What's after for Ash energy? It's almost like, what is the truth of Ash energy? It's a truth that, again, it couldn't exist in this Welchness. It almost feels like either it was too, it feels like it was too diluted in Swelchness, and there was too much motion in the Swelchness for it to settle at the bottom of the tank and precipitate. It couldn't precipitate, and it was diluted. So, where is Ash ending us? Well, I have like 2 title cards in here. So what are my mystery cards? So if the High Priestess comes out, if the Moon comes out, if either title card comes out, then I'll leave it be. Otherwise, I'm going to continue asking. I feel like it's buffering. I feel like the message is buffering. I feel like the message is loading because we're still moving with the Eight of Cups, or the Seven into the Eight of Cups, right? So we haven't even necessarily fully begun the the journey into the new thing yet. We're still leaving the Seven of Cups. Like, we're still leaving this behind. And maybe that's to a little bit of the energy of that disconnect. It's like we're still closing these out before we're really forming a solid connection to everything coming. Yeah, it does. Like with the sun at the bottom of the deck, and it's after the sun too. With it being after the sun, it feels like, because I know in the in between when the Phoenix came out, it was an energy of like, at birth, death is assured. Everything that is born will die. But it's this energy of like, at death, rebirth is assured here, with the sun being at the bottom after. And since the rebirth is assured at death, it's like that's what we're awaiting here. And the phoenix rises from the ashes, right? And so if it never falls, then the phoenix never rises again. Yeah. This reminds me, it has a very similar glow to the person in that Four of Cups heading into the Five of Cups, the person that was in the water and the urn was glowing. It reminds me of that. It has a very similar glow to it. I was like, I like this card. It's because of that blue glow. But it feels like this flower it's like a mile marker. It's like to stop for this one flower here would be to sacrifice the entire meadow of flowers that grows. Okay, thank you. Oh, look, title card at the bottom. So I'm not going to get any more cards, or one of the title cards at the bottom. A special tarot invitation. After the Two of Swords, after the Two of Pentacles, after the Five of Cups. After the Five of Cups is Two Cups. So there's a 2-2-2 energy here, even though this 2 is a 5. Well, if we Cindy math these two into a 4, then there's a 4-5 progression. Selective Cindy math, yes. This feels like this is the energy of holding on to the rise that comes after the fall. This feels like it's the closest to this energy here. So I'm going to put these back up here because I'm done with those. This feels the closest. And then the Two of Pentacles is here. This is what we maintain as the ships are coming in. And it's interesting that the ships, are they departing? No, they're arriving. Yeah, because that's the front of the person. It's interesting that the ships have landed and they're disembarking. Is that the word for when you get off the ship? I don't know. Or is it just disbarking? I think it might just be disbarking. Hey Siri, define disbark.
Disembark means.
Oh no, it is disembark. As they're disembarking. Well, disbarking would be to take the bark off of the ash tree. There were some plants where they're like, the inner bark is this and the outer bark is that. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Anyway. It's interesting that they're disembarking in the Two of Pentacles rather than them sort of still being up in the air in the Three of Wands. And it's also interesting because, again, the Three of Wands naturally precedes the Two of Wands, right? But it's going back here. And that's the thing about some hierophantic energies is they don't actually lead you anywhere new. They continue to rope you into the same system. It becomes this sort of like a loop in a computer. It feels like a loop in code, honestly. And I've done coding before. I love I do kind of love it. It can be difficult. I feel satisfied when I create a loop that works. But a functional loop, it's like you only loop until a certain condition is met. After that condition is met, you proceed forward. So there is an energy in the ash that is about meeting conditions, satisfying certain criteria to move forward. And that's what's happening right now. Like the loop is literally here in the Swelchness. And I said, like, it feels like if you can break this, like, or if you can cut this tail off or something, then it eventually slows because it feels like the tail is it's a potential vector. If it's a force vector, then it would be coming into the Swelchness and pushing it this way. If it's a potential vector, then it shows that the Swelchness is about to rotate this way. I don't know if counterclockwise or clockwise matters, but what did y'all say? Garlic is a bulb and planted in the fall. Tulip is a bulb too. Two tulips, bulbs. Oh yeah, the black garlic. Ah, Chris calling Maya. What kind of ships? Do 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 do. I don't know. The type of ship is not specified. To 2022. I think it could also be 2/22/2022. I think around 2/22/2022 is when America has its Pluto return. I think it's somewhere around the 22nd next year of February. And it's like after America has its Pluto return, like I think maybe a few months after, that's when my Saturn return goes direct. Anyway, now we come into this Five of Cups. And what I love about the Five of Cups after rather than this Hierophant after, it feels like this five leads to a change, which is us acknowledging these two cups that we weren't able to acknowledge before. This five, Hierophant, feels like it's leading us to more of the same. And then there is somebody drowning in the river. So this is a person who's deciding not to drown in their sorrows anymore, and they're going to move forward. That individual out there is making the choice, so we can't do anything for them, unfortunately. I mean, it's their choice, so it's not really fortunate or unfortunate. We honor and respect their choice, and we keep doing what we need to do and move on. The only thing missing here is the two wands. And the two wands are over here, leading us back into the very vortex that we're trying to escape from. But the energy of the Three of Wands, and I feel like it's beyond the Three of Wands because again, with the Three of Wands, you're still waiting. This Two of Pentacles has managed to keep up the act, this juggling act, until the ship arrives. And it's like now he can put his second leg down. He's like putting it down. He doesn't have to be the monkey in the circus anymore, I guess. I don't know. So it isn't necessarily telling us what the ash will be after, But it feels like we no longer have to hold this conflict between us. We no longer have to juggle these things with as much care because the ship has arrived. And we no longer have to worry about all of the things that didn't work out in the past. Because now the things that are here have enough of a presence. It almost feels like it's demanding our attention. Like they're close enough, they're fragrant enough, they're present enough to pull us away from this and to not end up like the individual who's drowning. And it reminds me of the alder tree, but we're coming out of the water. The alder thrives in water, but it rots when it's outside of water. And that's why this is ash. That's why this isn't an alder, because we're not supposed to be in the water anymore. So maybe your personal Yggdrasil tree, and I know that's also something that Russ has talked about it at some point. It's when your personal Yggdrasil tree, it's like it goes from one tree to another. And it's interesting because you came out, like first it came out, and then when I was shuffling, it made itself known again. And you was the Yggdrasil for a while. Now Ash is the personal Yggdrasil. But as it's unbound, it frees your personal Yggdrasil tree to go from ash to a different tree because ashes are disappearing. The time of ash is over, or the time of ash is nearing its end. Ash is in its final acts as the Yggdrasil, the personal Yggdrasil. Now the role will go on to a different tree. Just for funsies, just for fun, I'm going to pull from the bottom of the deck. And the first tree that we encounter will be something. Oh, see, new bud. Okay, a pear. The pear tree. And a partridge in a pear tree. That Ace of Cups energy, I guess. Or maybe it's the Ace of Wands because the wand is the only thing not represented here. And it's Cosmic Surge. Perth. And it's also interesting because it feels like so Querth navigated, or the name Querth moved from the old room that is now, I don't remember what that room. It's ether. It's fire. Feor. That's what it is. It's Feor now. Now the name Querth has moved to the pear tree, just like the Yggdrasil is shifting. It shifted from you to ash, and now it's shifting from ash to the pear tree. The pear tree is the one tree I did not expect. Excuse me. It's the tree I expected the least, but I mean, new lovers on the first day of Christmas will get a new Yggdrasil tree. Where's the partridge? Are there any birds in here? Do I have a deck of birds? I feel like a bird is relevant for some reason, but I don't know why. Because I feel like a bird hasn't made an appearance here. But some bird is relevant somewhere. Eagles have been a thing lately. And an eagle in a pear tree. A Hraesvelg. I think when Russ was going through the tools, an eagle popped up. Russ had a golden eagle. Reem said she's been seeing a lot of eagle messages. And then Hraesvelg came out, and Hraesvelg is the eagle at the top of the Yggdrasil tree. And according to some accounts, it's Loki. Ash associated with those Loki frequencies. Loki becomes the eagle that sits atop the tree. And I guess there's a question of if the tree was shifting, would you notice it first at the roots with the shadows, in the canopy, or at the top of the tree with Loki, Hraesvelg? Or would it be inside with that you energy? And I think it would be inside because the inside is connected The inside is connected to the roots and the canopy through the xylem and the phloem. But also that's where the step is going, right? So anyway, did not expect a pear tree, but pears bear fruit. Ash trees bear fruit too. I'm sure they gotta have some kind of way to propagate, right? But we eat pears. I don't. You can eat. I mean, acorns and walnuts are nutrient dense, I guess. Rich, some of them. But you get pears at the grocery store. Maybe that's the availability of what the energy is going to become. Whereas over here, there's this swelginess where the energy can't even fully precipitate, where it's controlled and limited and monitored by this hierophant energy that creates a demand for it that it never really fulfills. Maybe it does. I shouldn't say that. For some people are fulfilled by certain hierophant energies, but again, I feel like the hierophant is intended. It's built to keep you dependent and reliant upon it. It doesn't. It builds you up, but it doesn't necessarily build you up enough to not need it all the time. Some do, some don't. This is the hierophant of old. That's in its own cocoon. Anyway. It's a pear tree now. The Norns could probably tell me, but I have the title card at the bottom of the deck, so I don't even know. Well, I'm not gonna go looking because this is here with the Four of Cups under it. What? And here, this is confirmation of pouring out cups. We pouring the cups out, and I love that the Four of Cups is here because in the Eight of Cups, before you see the person drinking the cup, this one's like, you know what? I'm full. I've had enough of this Hierophant. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'll pour out my own gosh darn cup, and then I'll go find somewhere to fill it. It's like, when they say if you leave your drink unattended at a bar, you should probably just get a new one because unfortunately the way that the club bar scene has gone, an unattended drink is likely to be a drugged one. Unless you have one of those fancy straws that change color, or I think there may be a nail polish where you could use your nail to mix the drink and the nail polish changes color if rohypnol is present or something like that. And it's a shame that we've had to get so clever and we've had to find such discreet ways to see if you've been drugged or to see if your drink is drugged. And I guess it reminds me too of what kept coming out yesterday, how helplessness gives birth to solutions. But anyway, this is an energy where you can trust your drink sitting there. This is an energy where it would be advisable to not. Anyway, that's the thing about ash trees, I guess. The energy of a personal Yggdrasil is shifting from the ash to something else, to the pear tree, from an ash to a pear, I guess. Oh, and look, here's the cosmic surge, right? And the phoenix rising from the ashes. There's a little bit of an os energy here, or an os energy, the mouth of God, or God mouth, because we can see in this top one, the topmost branch is going to curve upward. And if we add a curve to this one, it becomes the rune for os. But not only is it curved upward, it's also curved below. So this one drops and then it curves upward. No, it curves, it invert. It does something, okay? There's some moving, mirroring, transmutation, alchemy, whatever. Anyway. It definitely is, Lucille. Definitely is. Which is again, we held the peace long enough for us to move into a new cycle and for things to come in, and now we will be able to very much so feel it. So, I love this. I don't want to make this too long. I can always come back. I'm not going to come back. Anyway, I hope you all have a good whenever you see this. Thank you all so much for being here. It's been fun. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, or way you find it, be that courage and strength for the spooky, scary times. Be that an inner knowing when you're navigating paths of uncertainty as you find new clarities and new truths that old worlds, old lives, old systems couldn't provide. That wasn't for them to provide. No problem. No problem. I'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna go hopefully get some good food. I'm gonna have to make something because I couldn't find good food. There's not a lot of good food to be found in my town, so and my body is definitely letting me know that all of the sugar and not that great food is not gonna fly anymore. So I have been forced to comply with my physical body.